Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Door to Door YouTube channel. Today, I want to do episode 6 of our What's Up with That Door series. In this episode, we're going to go over the Amarr Classica. I consider this Amarr's flagship kind of model with their lineup, especially the steel doors. So, without any further ado, let's cue the music.
What's up with that? What's up with that? What's up with that? Door. What's up with that? What's up with that? What's up with that? Door.
Now, for those of you who may not be familiar with Amarr by now, if you've been watching this, you probably are, but just in case you're not, here's just a brief history about Amarr itself.
Amarr was founded by three brothers, Abe, Morris, and Herb Brenner, in 1951. They began in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, with a small building supply store. Now, they are a national brand with 3 manufacturing facilities in Kansas and North Carolina. They produce over 500,000 garage doors each year, making them one of the largest manufacturers of garage doors in the U.S.
All right, so getting into the Amarr Classica. So the nice thing about this door is it boasts, they are 3-section carriage house door. So we're the inexpensive ones. In a 7-foot, it's going to be 4 sections and 5 sections on an 8-foot. With the 7-foot tall door, they do 3 28-inch sections. And with the 8-foot tall door, they do 3 32-inch sections. So the big appeal with that is you get these nice, large glass sections. It's going to be your more typical carriage house look. They have a couple different designs. They have a recess. They have some beadboards. They also do the crossbucks in a couple of the designs. So that way, if you're looking for that barnyard look, all that, you can kind of get that all in this one model. So just to show you real quick, here's just a little carrying sample of a piece of a section from the Classica. You can see versus the standard door, a little bit taller. And this is the 28-inch, the 32-inch. Obviously, it'll be another 4 inches taller than this. Here you see with the crossbucks, it's got the wood grain, offers a beadboard, or you can stick with this more recessed kind of look. This is the Northampton versus, this is Lucerne with the crossbucks or without the crossbucks. This beadboard pattern, I believe that's the Tuscany. So as you can see, a couple different options, but you definitely get that little bit larger, cooler 3-section look of the, with this model. Like I said, a very unique door. Amarr is the only one that really does a door like this, especially in a steel version. Some of the more custom wood doors, like I said, that more traditional look. When you get into the custom wood carriage house doors, a lot of times you'll see those in a 3-section door. But this is the only steel door that offers that 3-section look, or one of the main ones. Just like most of the models, it comes in a 1000, a 2000, and a 3000. 1000 being your hollow door, 2000 being your vinyl backed pan door. And then the 3000, they only offer a 2-inch with the spray foam, the polyurethane insulation. So these doors do have a great R value if you plan on heating the garage, or if you have some bedrooms above the garage that you'd like to keep warm. We mostly stick with that 3000 model because, again, like I've said in previous videos, the 1000, they're a little too flimsy. And then the 2000, they just glue some insulation into that hollow steel frame. So it's still a flimsy door. Once you put that steel back, that steel back, that's where you get the real strength versus these hollow steel guys. So like I said, we really do recommend that 3000 model if you are looking at this door. It's just, it's a really good, solid, good high R value door. Also with this door, it does boast a little bit heavier gauge front skin than some of the standard doors. On the 3000, it's a 25 gauge, and then it's a 24 gauge on the 1 and 2000 doors. So a little bit sturdier than those typical 27 gauge front skins you do see on most of the steel garage doors. So like I said, this is a great option if you do like that carriage house look, or if you're looking for more of a barn look in a just a standard stamped steel door without going to an overlay door or going into something much more custom that could be a little bit more money than something like this, which is a little bit more reasonable than, like I said, the custom 3-section carriage doors. That being said, there are a few cons with the door. One thing about a 3-section door, those big tall sections are a little clunky going through the turn. So if you're looking for a very quiet door, this might not be it. It's definitely a little rattly because those taller sections, as they make the turn, they get probably give you a little more of a thud than you do with the standard, 18 and 21 section. The 18 and 21 inch sections you see with most steel doors. Another thing about this door is, me personally do feel it is a little pricey for what it is. Like I said, it's at the 3000 model. It's a 2-inch urethane spray foam, and it does jump quite a bit from their 2-inch spray foam in their standard 4 and 5 section doors. The next one being down would be their designer's choice, which is their 2-inch urethane, more of a I call it the 4-section carriage house door, which still stays in line with a lot of just the traditional, like the Lincoln Heritage kind of line, just a little bit more because it's thicker with that high R value. So it does jump quite a bit from that model to the Classica here. So depending on your budget, this one may not be for you, because this is where you're going to start getting into those higher budgets. Like I said, I do consider this more their flagship model when it comes to the steel doors. So it ends up being priced similar to an overlay door. So if you're thinking about going with an overlay door, this is going to be in that same kind of ballpark if you wanted to take a look at it. Nice thing about this compared to an overlay door, they can do the darker colors. It comes in black, comes in some of the darker wood grains, where with an overlay door, you really got to get like a Clopay Canyon Ridge or something like that that can come in those dark colors and handle the sun. So it is a great option if you're looking at, like I said, that carriage house look and thinking about black or one of the faux wood grains versus just plain old white or one of those. So this is a good option for that. Another thing about this is, at this price point, it still has the plastic snap-in inserts. I would think here I would prefer more of a built-in window personally, at this price point, but you do get a lot of door for your money. So some pros and cons. You can have the different glasses. That's pretty much the reason why they do it. So they can offer you a lot of different glass options and still keep the price down. But if you're looking at a similarly priced like Clopay Coachman or one of their overlay doors, it's not going to be that much more. And then they have a more built-in glass section, which I do like. Another thing with this door is half sizes are a little bit difficult. Like I said, they use 3 28-inch sections for the 7-foot tall door and 3 32-inch sections for the 8-foot tall door. So 7 to 8, you're going to have a mix in section heights. If you have a half size like a 6'6", they're going to stick a 21-inch section in between the 2 28-inch sections, making it a 6'5" tall door. And personally, I just think it looks a little funny. It takes away from that look of having those 3 nice big sections when you put in that little half section. I should have a picture of it. I'll throw it up so you can see kind of what that looks like and give you an idea. So that's one of the things I wouldn't recommend if you have a smaller than 7-foot tall door, or depending on what height, if it's an odd height rather than just standard 7 or 8 foot tall. We always recommend get a drawing so you see where they want to stick that 21, or if they have to stick a 21 in there, where they're going to put it and how that's going to kind of alter the look from what you might be seeing in the brochure and envisioning, what it's going to look like on your house. One other thing they do with this door is they also offer it in a flush door, so fully flush. So if you actually want to make your own door, or you're working with a carpenter, that you can actually put overlays on top and kind of do that yourself. If you want to make your own kind of overlay custom door or something like that. So they do offer those kind of slabs to do that on this door, which is kind of a neat thing that you can get from them. Also, they do a full view version, which is basically they're going to put windows in every section left and right. So it looks almost like a aluminum full view door, but a little bit more durable, a little bit taller sections than they do in the aluminum full views, and may come in a little less expensive than if you're going with the traditional aluminum full view door, which have very popular in a lot of modern homes that you see nowadays. So those are probably the basic specs of the Amarr Classica. Like I said, if you've been watching this series now for a few, if you go back to the Lincoln or the Heritage, you'll get a little more of a basic overview on garage doors in general. So this video, I was really just trying to stick to what's specific about the Classica that makes it unique in the Amarr line. Really just going back at it, it's a, like I said, it's that more of a traditional carriage house look. So if you're looking for that, if really that more traditional barnyard look with the less sections, bigger glass, this is really the door. It's a very unique door. Really no one else does something like it. General has something similar, but not quite, and not nearly the amount of options that you can get here in the Classica. But the Classica here is a good kind of middle of the road option between your standard traditional 4-section, more, less expensive, more entry-level doors, and then in between here, and then the more high-end, the more expensive overlay doors like the Canyon Ridges, and then the custom wood doors like and then the custom wood doors. So that's about it. Any comments, questions, please leave them below. And again, this is Alan with Door to Door Garage Doors in Northern New Jersey, where we want you to love your garage door. And if you're in the Northern New Jersey area, please reach out to us. We'd love to help you with your garage door. Okay, we'll see you in the next one. Okay, thanks. Bye.